Well, welcome back to Small Changes, Big Shifts, creating rhythm and resilience during this fascinating reset that we're going through. As some of you know, that I was struggling out the first few weeks of the COVID-19 pandemic that we're involved in. So my spirit downloaded doing rhythm and resilience, that I needed to find a rhythm so I can have resilience through this time. And so I thought I was starting a series for all of you. And what I realized in the last 36 hours that, and Eleanor and I talked about this yesterday, I think it's probably saved my life over the last 30 days and not really going down the rabbit hole, because having conversations with phenomenal people and then seeing your faces has helped me not be sucking my thumb. It's helped me be more proactive. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for showing up and witnessing this event that we're going through. As many of you know, we decided in April that we did 5 shows a week at 12:30 on Zoom. We did Motivational Monday, Total Health Tuesdays, Wisdom Wednesdays, Talk Story Thursdays, and Fun Fridays. And off the Fun Fridays, we did bingo. We also did, Sonia totally was on, talked about not letting our imagination be hijacked. Kristen talked about something so funny a couple weeks ago about if we would take the Christians to the sifters, we'd see who actually got through by the way they're living. So today's conversation will be perfect for that quote that she had. So in the month of May, we're doing 2 shows a week. We started out with Motivational Monday earlier this week, and I have to tell you, I forgot who was on. Eleanor? Maybe you can type in the chat for me. She will remember. Patrick Porter, oh gosh, I've talked about it all week long. How could I have forgot? Dr. Porter talked about the brain tap technology, which I personally have used, and I think it's a wonderful technology. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We also sent you the one sheet on it. And so I also reached out to my friend Cynthia Newsome and asked her if she would come on and share for multiple reasons. A, she's just a huge champion of well-being. She's got her own story of thriving through life. She's been on television for forever. And also, I want to talk to her about some of the disparities we're seeing. So here's, so thank you for that. We're going to be going to Wisdom Wednesdays here in a few weeks, and I will tell you more about that as we go along. But most of all, I want to say thank you for helping me navigate this time by showing up, because by you showing up, I was able to share my friends, and by sharing my friends has helped my heart not get hardened to what's happening. So Cynthia Newsome is the midday anchor for 41 Action News. She just got off the air a little bit ago. Cynthia came to 41 Action News in January of 1997. Prior to that, she was in Oklahoma City for 13 years, serving as a weekend anchor for KWTV Channel 9 and a reporter at KFOR-TV and WKY Radio. Cynthia is an award-winning journalist. In June 2011, Cynthia was diagnosed with breast cancer. After 8 chemotherapy treatments, 33 radiation treatments, a lumpectomy, many prayers, and the loving support of her husband, Ed, family, and coworkers, viewers, church members, and neighbors, Cynthia beat breast cancer and became a breast cancer thriver. 7 years later, in February 2019, the breast cancer returned. Cynthia was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. Cynthia is in treatment, receiving chemotherapy treatments to once again rid her body of the cancer. She is sharing her story on the air to help inspire and encourage other people battling serious diseases to have faith and continue fighting. And have faith is a key word here. And I get chills, and you guys know what the chills are on my left side. This is a holy appointment for somebody on this call today. I feel it. And Cynthia's story will not only inspire you, but will encourage you to be the best version of yourself. Cynthia, hey, welcome to Rhythm and Resilience.
So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for the end of the show. I'm wondering what that's going to be, because I have not heard the end of the show. I wonder if you're going to sing. I don't know. I'm just going to wait. I'll be patient.
All right. Well, I can tell you I'm not going to sing. Well, probably not. I barely have rhythm. So Cynthia, as you heard, we started this show. I heard from my spirit to do something around rhythm and resilience, and how do we continue to focus on the gifts, at the same time acknowledge the challenges. And you and I happened to have dinner the week before we kind of got on lockdown. How crazy is that?
I know. I'm so glad. It was such a wonderful time and a great moment. Those are the moments that I miss, that I feel the sense of loss during this pandemic, that we can't just connect and sit over a meal and talk and reflect and encourage and inspire each other and just listen sometimes. You know, it's great.
Well, it'll come around. I remember running into you and Ed just 2 days later at the event for some charity.
Rosebrooks, yeah.
Rosebrooks, yeah, Rosebrooks. We were there in honor of Erin Langhofer. Erin's aunt and mother are good friends of ours. And Erin was a client of mine. I actually saw her the week before she got shot, which is a whole nother conversation. So on this show, we like to celebrate, guide, connect, which provide hope, especially around the times we're in right now. So what was your biggest challenge before COVID-19?
Oh gosh, before COVID-19, isn't it almost hard to remember? Because this has been happening and it's such a dramatic shaking of our whole lifestyle and lives. So before COVID-19, I would just say I would probably work too late. That was the biggest challenge, trying to get everything done and done well and get home on time. Those were my challenges. Yeah.
Well, for those of you that may not know, you're sitting in your home office now. You got a teleprompter behind you and your camera now. What's it like working from home after you've been in a station for forever?
You know what? I'm actually learning to like it. At first, I just wanted to be able to do my normal thing, go into work and have all my, everything was there. And I could call on an engineer immediately if I needed technical assistance. And I mean, and so now I'm punching buttons and understanding what's going on technologically. So I'm growing and learning and being more independent. I kind of like that. And I like the fact that I can, go and throw on a load of laundry and come back down and keep working. I did try to cook a pizza and completely got down here and got lost and didn't run back upstairs, and it was kind of rock solid. So I've learned not to try to cook while I'm down here in the basement during work. So
unless you set a timer, I'm a master of using my timer. I actually set the timer about 6 times this morning already. Because in between, I did a corporate gig this morning with my friend Wendy Bash on mechanical health for our friends at Snap It. And then I have family coming. I'm actually at our lake house right now. And I love that part that I could actually have hopped in the car last night after seeing patients, got here, slept, did a thing this morning, and made some tuna salad and some eggs. My family's coming a little bit later. We're going to have a little bit of a family weekend. It's a little drippy, but that'll be all right. So, but I set a bunch of timers. I have loved that feature. I'll just say, Siri, give me a 10-minute timer. So that might be a little, okay. Here we're fixing problems. But let's talk about, what are you enjoying besides that? What about your well-being? Are you having any extra time to take care of yourself?
Oh, I think that it was such a change of pace when we went to the stay-at-home. That I think I really was in a little bit of a depression because I wasn't getting up. You would think, hey, you can get up. You don't have to, worry about drive time to get to work now. So you have no excuses to get up, exercise, get up, do bills, get up, do whatever it is you need to do to prepare for the day personally before you start work. But I wasn't doing that. I was just waiting until the second I could get up and time it just so I would get down here. And I think that was kind of a little sadness. And I think I'm just kind of getting over that as I really, dive more into work. Now I'm beginning to multitask and I'm beginning to include personal time. I got up. Well, the key is getting to bed too, because one of the things that you can fall into a trap is I can come down here and I'm thinking, well, let me just log this interview that I did earlier today on Zoom. And then that'll put me ahead for tomorrow. And it's, it's 2 a.m. You may not do that. I do. And I'm trying to get out of it. So
well, I love sleep, and I think sleep is in the top 3 things you need to do to be well. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm teaching people, I'm trying to remind them to not let this time become your sleep hygiene gets out of control where you're staying up late working or you're, watching crack. I call Netflix crack. So things like that. As I mentioned, we'd like to celebrate. I'm celebrating you. First of all, I want to say thank you again for helping me kick off my 25th year, wrap up that celebration we did. Celebrating you for all the years of being consistent and showing up in people's homes. The city absolutely loves you. What has been some of the biggest gifts you've got being able to be into people's homes and share with them?
Oh, I think the biggest gift is honestly the platform of being on television and being able to provide information, salute people, celebrate them on the air. I think that's my biggest gift. I think one of the things that I've been able to do because I'm on television is to start my Awesome Ambitions program for girls, which is college and career readiness program for 8th through 12th grade girls, I think that's one of the greatest gifts. And we just had a call with the girls last night. About 25 were on the call. And just to hear from them of what they're going through and to encourage them. So I honestly think that it's my purpose to be on television because I want to help people. I want to do something that makes a difference and that matters in their lives and that inspires and empowers people to know what's available, what their rights are, how to access this and that. And then, to correct wrongs, which is always one of the missions and callings, I think, of every reporter. We should be looking to expose and correct wrongs that are out there. And so those are my gifts. That's the greatest joy that I experience.
Well, and your gift is a beautiful smile and a beautiful heart and a beautiful laugh. I want to turn the conversation a little bit serious because, as we talked the night that I got a chance to see you, heavy on my heart is some of the disparities that we were talking about before COVID. And then just in the last week, we've had what's happened down in Georgia. And so being an African-American woman, what are some of the things that are really heavy on your heart and just being a human being? I know.
Yeah, it's tough. The incident in Georgia is beyond so much that has happened. These were not police officers, law enforcement. They were just people hunting down somebody that they decided was in their minds guilty and that they deserved to hunt and catch like an animal. And it just affects your sense of how people view you. I mean, and it is personal. And so do people just look at the race? Do they just look at us and think they're over us, they have that authority, and therefore, they can say and do whatever they want? And it's so unfortunate that it took national media attention to even get charges filed in the case. So that's unfortunate. But when we talk about COVID and pandemic, I'm just so heartbroken a little bit again because so many African Americans are the largest share in Kansas City and so many other cities of the percentage of people being diagnosed, meaning they're exposing themselves, they're getting, the virus, and they're having to fight it, and some of them are dying. And I don't want that for anybody, no matter what race. But I have to wonder why and what's going on in the African American community, which is all over. You say community like it's one particular place in a city. It's not, it's all over. But I just think that I don't know that many people are taking it very seriously as something that can happen to them. I think they're also exposed and becoming diagnosed with COVID because they are some of the essential workers. They're out at the grocery store and they're out, workers in the grocery store and the, gas stations, and, they're doing those jobs. And so their exposure opportunity is greater. And so they have to be much more careful. I was in a gas station the other day and the clerk, and there's no screen up or anything, and it's just the normal thing. And you walk up and you pay for what you purchased. And I just thought, man, I just wish you had a mask on. And I just think there's just this, I don't know, affinity to putting a mask on. And I think we need to try to get over that as well and really understand this is serious and it's sad and you don't want to be one of the ones diagnosed.
Well, I want to address the mask, but interesting enough, I was driving here last night, and I'm the type of person, if somebody pops in my mind, I typically reach out to them because otherwise they keep popping in my mind because my spirit's saying you need to check in. And it was one of my friends who's African-American, and her husband's family has 11 people with COVID-19. They've had one death. This is in Kansas City. This is not in another state by you guys. I mean, they're friends and clients of mine. So this is within YWC's space. So, and I want to also address the mask thing because I believe, first of all, people are anxious with masks on. I remember the first time I went to the grocery store and I put a mask on and I thought, holy moly, I'm getting anxious. And I was getting anxious. And so to people that have not been out much, I would encourage you, wear your mask for a little bit around your house so you get used to wearing it. And people have asked me, what am I doing? And I want to tell you, I've been seeing patients, we're essential the last 4 weeks, and I'm wearing a mask. And I think it's the right thing to do. And some people who know, I'm on the spectrum. There's people over here that are, this is all made up. And I want to talk to you about the media and people saying the media's making this all up. And then you have the other side where people say this is really serious. We're all going to, winter's going to be horrible. And there's those two sides. But I'm in the middle. And I want to tell you, if you're going to come in and see me, I'm going to have a mask on. And I just think that's the right thing to do, to be socially responsible in this moment, because we don't know the exact truth. So why would you not just wear a mask? But I do want to remind you, I think you should wear it at home for a little bit to get used to it. Cynthia, have you been out much at all?
No, I was out yesterday because I had treatment. I get immunotherapy at the University of Kansas Cancer Center. And in Westwood, and that's pretty much the only time I really get in the car and have driven at all. So I haven't really gone many places, but when I was on my way home, I stopped to get gas, and that's when this African-American young man, he was not even 30, and no mask, and all these people are coming and going, and you don't know, and then you just don't know who may have a virus or the whatever it is that, is contagious that could affect you. And then you also, since it's possible for you to have COVID, the coronavirus, without knowing it and spread the symptoms. So to protect yourself, to protect others, it just makes sense. It's not hard. And now more people are doing it, so you don't feel so odd and out of whack. But it's something that I think is important. I think another reason African Americans are such a large part of the people that are being diagnosed as COVID-19 positive is because there are so many other pre-existing conditions. So I'm at greater risk, which is why I don't go out much, because I have metastatic breast cancer. So people with cancer, if you get it, your positive outcome is diminished. It is. And so asthma and heart disease and high blood pressure and all of those things are some of the many ongoing conditions that African Americans are experiencing. Obesity, those kinds of things are, asthma, putting us at greater risk for developing it and becoming extremely sick and dying. So those are, I think that's another reason African Americans are such a large percentage of the group. So I don't know, I whatever it is, I want it to stop, and part of what we can do, and the only thing we can do is what we have the power to do, and that's to wear a mask, and that's to be safe, and that's to social distance. We have to just focus on what we can do, and not, I want this to end and I wish it was over and I'm sad people are getting hurt, but what can you do? So that's all we know that we can do. If there's something else we can do, let's do it.
Well, that guidance, for sure, without a doubt, is give people guidance. Well, you give me an idea. I think I'm going to start carrying extra masks in my car to be able to give away. I've got a bunch of Be Good to People masks, and I think I'll order some more. And some people may just not have them. And so maybe we just can help them with that, So here's something else great, Cynthia, that I think you may or may not know. And I've harped on many people about vitamin D before. And I just published an article in Eleanor, hopefully you'll find that on social media. It talked about people with low levels of vitamin D are more susceptible to coronavirus.
Wow.
Because vitamin D is important for the immune system. So we've talked about this, about every single thing I've done the last month has been, okay, and make sure you take your vitamin D. When my patients walk out the door, I'm like, by the way, you're taking your vitamin D. Vitamin D with K, unless you're on a blood thinner. Maybe I'll start carrying some vitamin D bottles in my car. That's a good idea too. I'm just thinking about what can I do? And all of us need to be thinking about what can we do to help other people. And if I had some bottles in my car, I'm going to see if I can find at least a 30-day dose. Yeah, Mark, it's vitamin D3 specifically with vitamin K, unless you're on a blood thinner. Cynthia, I'm going to ask this, and I know that you take it with my heart, is being born an American white woman. I was very fortunate to hit the lottery, right? Some people would say, so what are things I could do to help the disparity? Because I really feel like if I peel back my skin and I peel back your skin, we look exactly alike. I don't know if people would realize that. Yeah. So if we just could get rid of that barrier, but what can I do to, any ideas for our listeners?
Honestly, it does make me feel good when I see people who are protesting against what happened in Georgia, that's a mixed group, you know? So I'm not suggesting you go out and protest, but I'm saying be part of the conversation that is against the racial profiling, against, you know, things that happen like that, to stand up and say something instead of just being silent, I think is huge. And I think it does, because look at your circle of influence. You know, for you to say something is powerful. Racism, as we must agree, is a learned behavior. You learn that when you're born. You learn it from either your parents or your circle, you know, the kids you're around or the school you go to or the community you're in. You just kind of learn racism. You learn hate. It's so sad, but that's how it happens. So knowledge is power. And as those who are in the, you know, the white community, stand up and say, this is wrong, I'm against it, let's do better. And how can we do better? And, you know, changing some of these laws that are designed to protect people, making sure the people in power are not those who agree with a racist philosophy and have conversation and rhetoric that is racist, that empowers and emboldens people to be racist, then I think that's huge. And so in your circles, I don't know how you can do that, but to bring it up would be an interesting way, and see where everybody is first in your circle. Where they go, do they agree? Do they disagree? And not just about, you know, the Georgia thing. What if there hadn't been video? What if there had not been video? What if? Thank God there was. But how many instances of that has happened where there was no video, there never will be charges, you're a minor individual, nobody's listening to you, you know, you're not some celebrity and it didn't happen in the public where a lot of people are. How many of those things have truly already happened? This is just one that we know. If this is a society and a community that's like that, there have to be others. I would investigate. I think one of the individuals is a former law enforcement person. I would investigate every case and see what in the world happened. I would just want to know. And find out. So I think that's part of it is having a discussion and raising the topic and trying to understand how in the world they feel this way, that this is okay. And I'm talking about the Hispanic community too. I'm just, you know, send them back to Mexico. That's just horrible. Did you know there are children in school who are told that? Hispanic children in school who are told go back to Mexico by elementary children? I mean, by their little their little schoolmates. I mean, that is a learned behavior. They have learned and heard that at home and now they're saying it, or they've learned and heard it on TV and now they're saying it. I'm so sad. I just think that's not who we are. I hope it's not who we are. And so we have to train those who are in our circle that are younger. So in addition to the older people that you're with, your circle of influence, your colleagues, let's look at the young people and let's have discussions with them and help unlearn that behavior if that's what they've learned at home. Let's make some kind of difference. Let's try to help them understand, what if you were African American? What if you were Hispanic? And you're a citizen of the United States, born and raised here, but your skin color, and so it's all about the outside. It's all about the outside, and it should be all about the inside. So there are things that you can do. A lot of it's voting, because, people in power, the rules are, and they make the rules. And so we need to be involved in that process. We need to be involved in the election process and campaigning and being part of the political process or the community process, where we decide what we are going to, the rules that we're going to have, the laws. that we're going to have, and the codes we're going to live by. And I just hate the rhetoric of us against you, and I'm going to be for this person, and I'm going to help drain the swamp. So I'm the swamp? Wow, that's, God, you don't even know me. I'm the swamp. Wow, that's offensive. That's hurtful. But it's about it's about getting in power. So people, swamp people like me, in their opinion, I mean, how terrible is that? Cannot rule over them. I hate the us and them. Hate that. So just try to build a collaboration and an acceptance. Maybe your politics is different. That's fine. We're different people. But do we have to hate each other and beat each other down? I don't think so.
Well, we're here to lift you up today. We're here to celebrate you, celebrate what you're doing with awesome ambitions. You're making a difference. And I totally agree with you. We've had some people on the show that have talked about the Hoffman process, and I truly believe once you heal the heart, you will do what you need to do to be well. You also will be mindful about who you let in your circle so that you're around love and you're around positivity. Yes, we all have negative shift that happens in our life, but how do we overcome that? I think that's part of the human spirit. So we're celebrating what you're doing with Awesome Ambitions. And, you were there when we launched Big Shifts Foundation to make generational change 5 to 30-year-olds. So we definitely want to celebrate you. And we could go story after story on this. I want to go back to when you think about your husband, Ed, and talk about some of the gifts he's had with you over the last 6 weeks as you've been home.
Oh my goodness. So I've had to move into his man cave office. Because I was upstairs, I was on the second floor, and then there's, the main level, and he was down here. This is his office, and the bookcases that you see behind me when I'm on the air, I'm turned the other way. And that's all his stuff. And so it's been really, honestly, kind of fun to be down here. I was upstairs. I never on my desk had a mouse pad. So I guess there was noise that was made when I was, doing the mouse. And then the very next day after I moved down here, I had a mouse pad from Ed. And so it was just so cute. I mean, he's just a lot of fun. My husband is an amazing, rare individual. I thank God for him. I thank God that I waited for him. And he is a blessing because he's a person, he doesn't run from trouble. He doesn't run from a hard discussion. He doesn't run from a hard situation. Mm-hmm. He's not afraid of whatever is next because we're just going to face it together with God. And our faith is in the Lord Jesus Christ. And we encourage our community and our faith community and our friends and everybody. We just try to show love to each other, to my kids, our stepkids. I don't have kids, but I mean my stepchildren. And we try to, and we do that in our church, and we do that wherever we are, with our neighborhood. We just try to show love. So Ed is amazing. He's amazing. He, when I first was diagnosed in 2011, he, and then I completed my treatment, and I said, I'm just so glad this is over. But he said, if anything happens, whatever it is, I'm there and I'm not going anywhere. And so many people do run away because it's not fun and it's not pretty and it's not sexy to have breast cancer. And God has blessed me. I'm still able to speak and work and move, and I'm still going. So I think that's a gift. And so I'm going to use it the whole time I that I can. I mean, that's your life. Your life is a gift, whether you have breast cancer or not. If you look at your life, it's a gift. Every day that you have, your abilities to do whatever, that's a gift. And so let's use the time we have, which no one knows when that is going to end. But let's use the time we have to make a difference, to be positive. That's why I love your program. I do. It's amazing. And I love that you give so much of it away. This is free information. So there's no mystery. There's no, well, if you have $20, I'm going to tell you this to help save your life and to make it more productive and have quality life. But you give it away and you share so much of it. And that's what I think is so beautiful. I love that. So I'm just happy to be your friend. I'm happy to be part of your program. And I think we're just two of a kind because we like using the gifts and talents we have to help others.
I don't know. I like to have my bigger smile like yours, and I love to be a little taller like you, but that's all right. I do like a little bright color, but mostly I like to be in black and white, which, So, I'm thinking about our friendship. I'm thinking about just friends in general. We have such a diverse circle. And, I grew up in Southeast Kansas. I'm called a little bit redneck village, but lots of people from Parsons, Kansas live in Kansas City too. Love it. Mark platform shoes. Yeah. But so I just love how I get a chance to witness so many phenomenal souls. But it does break my heart when I hear stories. My friend Willie was telling me a story. He was sitting down by Liberty Memorial Park and happened to be in that area 2 days in a row. And the second day, the police had to talk to him because they thought he was up to mischievous. I'm like, this is the Willie, anyhow. I can go on and on about the sadness, but I also want to continue to make a difference. And for everybody listening today, if you're having some bias, you might question, I wonder why. And I think Mindy Corcoran, who's a friend of mine, has been on the show before, and a white woman, a white father, white son, hate crime by a white supremacist to her family, which, we're celebrated. That's a sad word to use, the 7 years of that tragedy. And so for all of us on here, what can you do to spread a little more love today? And so that's one of my questions for you, Cynthia, and to everybody on the show. And Ellen and I, we posted this for Mother's Day. What's your medicine? Everybody has their own magic, their own medicine that they can share with the world. What's yours?
Well, can I share a story? And my husband and I did not do this this is the first time we're really publicly talking about it. But we took some pineapples. We have 56 people in the neighborhood, 56 homes in our subdivision. And so we took some pineapples with a note, we're, just checking in, saying hi, we love you, God bless you, your neighbors, Cynthia and Ed. And we actually got in the car and we drove around each street and we delivered them. We had our masks on and our gloves, and, the pineapples were in plastic, and we just left them at the door. We rang the doorbell and left. Because, the social distancing, plus we didn't want to stand there and, we just wanted to do something fun. So I think that's my medicine that I'm trying to deliver to people, is that I see you, I hear you, you're important to me. I haven't forgotten you. We don't see each other. There's not the block party and the little, that we have, but we're still here. We still love you. So just finding those little ways to say, I love you and I care. It could brighten somebody's day. You never know, because we're missing hugs. We're missing handshakes. We're missing, I don't know, just cheering together and connecting together and just, being a family together because of COVID-19. So that's one of the things that I did. And my husband and my stepson also helped hand out the pineapples. And we didn't even know pineapples. One of the neighbors wrote us a note back and said, "Oh, thank you so much for this gift. And I'm sure you know that pineapples are the symbol of friendship and hospitality." And we didn't even know. We just had some pineapples. And so that's, that's what I do. But just checking in on people, like you said, you check in on your friends when they come to your mind. I love that.
Well, the other thing about pineapple, first of all, loaded with some vitamin C. It also has bromelain, and bromelain is good for inflammation. And the virus, people have we have inflammatory conditions, diabetes, arthritis. Those are inflammatory conditions, and the best way to help yourself is to become less inflamed. And so what you eat matters. And I have to go back to what you said, and I'm actually going to get a little teary, and I got a tear in my eye about it, is what you said is, I see you, I appreciate you, and I love you. And people need us to see that. Everybody has on their forehead these 4 letters, MMFI, make me feel important. And if we all would go into a conversation with that intention of saying, you know what, I see you, I hear you, I love you, I appreciate you, we would transform hate. So if you don't have a platform like Cynthia or myself, but what you could do is you could take out something to your neighbors. And if you, I actually, you know, I'm a quote nerd, Cynthia. I'm going to come to you on quotes. You probably know that. Like we've sent out about, I don't know, Eleanor, 400 or 500 decks of quote cards to people around the country to help spread goodness and spread positivity. And if you don't have anything to spread, if you want, I'll give you some quote cards or something, just so if you want to do something to help spread the good. So Cynthia, if you had a magic wand, you could do anything. What would you do?
Oh, my goodness. Wow, a magic wand. Oh, I would take it and I would sprinkle it all over and I would say unity. I think unity, if we're united and together, we can talk and discuss, we can make some decisions, we can agree to disagree, we can have compromises, we can appreciate each other, accept each other, still love each other like a family. You know, you get mad at your mom, you know, and your brothers. Oh, and what? But you still love them. You still love them. So I guess I would sprinkle unity, and hopefully that would breed love and understanding and appreciation and acceptance.
I like that. So to all of our people that are live with us today, go ahead and share any questions you have right now. It's a perfect time to do that, or any love that you'd like to share as we start to wrap up the show. Cynthia, you probably may or may not remember this. I have had 3 stepfathers by the time I was 17, okay? And one of them still in my life. I'm going to call him a bonus father. You are not there's nothing step about you. You are a bonus mother. So I would love for you to say my bonus son, because I know without a doubt you are a bonus in his life. And so that's my thoughts on people using the word step, because some people, you know, they treat you like step. And I think that if we can treat each other like we're just bonus, it's a bonus to have you in my life. And I'm so grateful for the wisdom that you're sharing today with our listeners.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
And watch him change.
Yeah.
And watch him change, because that word step, and like I said, I'm only saying that with love, because I was raised in that situation,
right.
Without a doubt. Cynthia, as we wrap up, is there one habit that you've picked up during COVID-19 you want to continue on?
My goodness. Wow. You know, I don't know that I've picked up on a habit.
There's still time.
Well, I know one thing: I will not give up. And so the technical challenges that I have faced, because I'm not the technical person. I mean, I'm really running the studio here. I love that I will not give up, and I will not settle, and I want to do great. I don't want to just get it on good enough. It's okay. I want to do, but that's who I already am. But I mean, these have been challenges. So maybe the technical part of this, I need to embrace and begin to learn and really dive into deeper to get even better.
You know, it's interesting when you say that. I've had to learn. We have operated our center for about a month without staff. And so it was tricky, because we had to learn how to, like, I didn't even know how to run a credit card. I'd not run a credit card in 19 years. And I'm not sure we even took credit cards when I first started. I don't even remember. You know, when I started, the internet wasn't even around. So I hear you, and I feel it's something is empowering about taking some responsibility, but also appreciating the other people that are willing and show up to do those jobs for you, since we are, you know, on the other side there. Well, I want to remind everybody, I'm going to remind you as your friend, sleep is super important. We know that getting sleep increases your immune system 6 times. Ideally, every minute you're in bed before midnight's like 2 minutes. So try to get in bed before midnight. Okay. Ideally 10-ish. And then maybe get up and move in the morning. We also know that exercise increases your immune system as well. Cynthia, before I wrap up, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this question, since you're the only news personality we've had on the show. How do we encourage our friends who are dishing the media? Because, you know, you just don't know where the truth lies. Can you give us any guidance of who to follow and how to know what the truth is?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it's difficult, because I don't know. Something has happened. Walter Cronkite would be so sad if he knew what was happening with the polarization and the you know, we try to and I say we, but the media often tries to spin the news and spin it to this opinion or spin it to that opinion. And I don't like spin. Just give me the facts. Just give me the facts. Tell me what's going on. But there's so much more to that now. Because if you believe that there's misinformation out there, then you better give the counter information, and you better explain why the misinformation is incorrect. And so we're in a position to where we're trying to do the best that we can. But I think you need to listen to, not just be one-sided and listen to only one perspective on the news. I think we need to hear the different, what's being said in different places, even though it's uncomfortable. You don't like it. If you don't know what people are thinking, then how can you help them understand where you are and show them the facts, which to me, only facts will change a person's opinion once they understand, that I'm not an animal to be traced, to be, run down and shot and killed. I'm not an animal to be, I'm not subservient to you and you're not over me. We're equal in this earth. And so until the facts come out, you don't know how to undo someone's thinking until you can give them the facts, and you have to know them, and you have to care about them, because people don't care what you think until they know that you care about them. So I think that's important. It's tough guidance, but you got to do a lot of reading and searching on your own, and not just listen to news that validates your opinion already. I think we need to broaden our horizons, and they may be uncomfortable. We don't like listening to it or watching it, but to understand, so that's why it's all about money, or it's all about power, and it's all about, not being knocked off the top by somebody else. If we understand how we can listen to that and approach that person. So that's my advice.
Well, it helped me because it helped me go to where I want to go next. And that's what, I have one note today, and that was your bio. Everything else I've been doing what I like to do, which is winging it. I am a Robin after all, as a joke. But, I think guidance is so important. And I know for me, I take what comes out of my mouth very serious, because people trust what I say. And I don't want to lose that. They say it takes years to build trust, and it takes a second to lose it. I was talking with one of my doctors yesterday. I actually got a call from one of my longtime patients yesterday. He said, my husband came in and his doctor didn't have a mask on. And tell me that's not how you're running your business. And I said, well, I responded, and I don't employ all the doctors there, but I did talk to the doctor, and I said, you know what, we have a great reputation. And if it makes the people feel comfortable that we have masks on, even if it's not our belief, we're here to serve them. And so I think it's a good reminder that guidance is important, and you've got to not take it blindly. For instance, I'm going to give you the research with vitamin K and D. Eleanor's going to find that article, and it's important. I'm telling you, it's important. It's not me saying it. It is people that I follow saying it, and some of the top researchers in this space. So anyhow, Cynthia, it is always a joy to spend with you. If people wanted to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you? Cynthia.Newsome@kshb.com. And Cynthia, and you can find me online. Just go KSHB Talent, 41 Action News Talent. You can find me, Cynthia Newsome. Just Google me and you'll find my email. So it's out there. Yeah, she's also on.
I'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. I do. I get great ideas from people, who trust me to tell their story. And that's a big deal, to be trusted to tell somebody's story, because you've got to put it in context and perspective and truth, and not just try to make them come out smelling like roses, but the truth. The truth is huge. So I'm all with you on that. I'm totally with you on, your reputation and trust.
Yeah, it matters. Well, I want to tell you what you're doing matters. I want to wrap up the show and tell you what you mean to me, but what you've meant to the people listening today. Liz says, Cynthia, you've been one of my sheroes for many years. Thank you. Mark, thank you for your wisdom and words. He feels you, from the Hispanic community. From Patty, thank you for sharing your story and your words of wisdom. From Dorothy, Cynthia, I got to move my screen down. Sorry, you guys. Hang with me here. Oh, I'm working on my laptop, not my big screen. Cynthia, you're bright, beautiful, wise. Thank you for spending the last hour with us. That's from Dorothy. And Eleanor said, we discussed some difficult topics. You spoke firmly with softness and understanding. Thank you for sharing your story. I want to say thank you for letting me ask you questions that are really on my heart. And I'm glad I have a friend that I can ask and say, what more can I do to help bring us together instead of divide us? I want to say thank you again publicly for when I called you to ask you to MC my 25th year celebration. You did not hesitate. You said, tell me the date, and you made it happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending you lots of love. Stay in, stay well, wear that mask. As I say, wash your hands, get your sleep, get your sleep, get your sleep, get your sleep, and some vitamin D with K.
Definitely. Love you guys. And thank you so much for inviting me, for giving me an opportunity. We don't often get to share our heart of hearts. And I put it out there today. And that means I love you and trust you. And so you've heard the real me.
Well, and you're making a difference. All right, everybody. Hey, just so you know, we'll be live. Oh, love you all. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody. Liz. Thank you, Dorothy and Deanne and Linda
Julie.
and Eleanor.
Yeah, well, so here's the story. You'll get the follow-up like you've been getting. We'll be back here Monday at 12:30. And by the way, I'm interviewing somebody for the first time that we've been doing this series that I don't know anything really about. I can't even remember why I invited him to be on the show. I have to go look up his bio. That's how fast we've been doing so many shows. Plus, I've done my podcast shows on top of these shows. His name is Bruce Daisley. And once again, I can't tell anything about him today because I don't remember, but I will know by Monday when I see you at 12:30, when we get a chance to chat. And by the way, there's something happening in Kansas City called Come Back Kansas City. I'm just learning about it, about how we're going to come back. We are going to lock our arms together. And I had a hit earlier this week. This is the economy afterwards is not going to be quite as bad because all of us are going to do our part. All right. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Send me good vibes. I'm hanging out with my little 16-month-old nephew and a couple of my nephews this weekend. They'll be here in a few hours. So, all right, you guys. Have a great weekend.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye.